Hello and welcome to our International Student Webinar exclusively for all commencing Semester 2 graduate students in 2020. My name is John Dixon, Regional Manager at the University of Melbourne. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for attending this webinar and most importantly, congratulate you on accepting your offer and joining the University of Melbourne. This webinar is exclusively for you, wherever you may be around the world. Now, throughout this session, I invite you to ask any questions you may have through the Q&A, where we have a team of staff answering your questions. We welcome you to the University of Melbourne. You are now part of a distinguished and thriving learning community. We acknowledge that the University of Melbourne's Parkville campus is on the lands of the Wurundjeri people, who have been custodians of this land for over 40,000 years. The university has other campuses and sites around Victoria too. So today we acknowledge and pay our respects to Wurundjeri elders past and present, and those traditional owners of our other campuses, and to those whose land it is wherever you are joining us from today. This is an acknowledgement of country, and you will see these frequently whilst you're studying at the University of Melbourne. The development of respectful relationships between the University of Melbourne and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and communities is an important step towards reconciliation. Respect can be manifested either by any of us making an acknowledgement of country or experiencing a ceremonial welcome to country performed by elders and traditional owners of the land we are on. You will have a chance to experience an Aboriginal ceremonial welcome once we are able to resume in-person events on campus. Okay, so today's session is designed to help you explore the opportunities you have as a University of Melbourne student and make the transition to the university as easy and enjoyable as possible. In the topics we will cover today, you will learn what you need to do before classes start, learn what support you can access throughout the semester, get some insider information about how to succeed at uni, and start thinking and asking those questions about how to make your degree and experience a unique and extraordinary one. You will also hear from our two very special guests today, our current students, Nada and Rasheen, who will provide insider tips and advice on life as a University of Melbourne student. Again, a reminder, please ask your questions through the Q&A and our team are happy to help and all questions are welcome. Now, before we get started, I do want to know a little bit more about each and every one of you. So I have a couple of questions that I would like to ask you. So hopefully you can see on your screen that we have a poll and a couple of questions I would love to know. First of all, where are you at the moment? We have a whole range of international students from all around the globe. So please have a look at those questions and answer them on your screen. Secondly, how are you feeling about starting your graduate degree? Hopefully you're very excited, happy and optimistic, but I'm sure there's a lot of nerves and maybe a couple of you are quite unsure as well. And finally, an important question, do you know exactly what job you're looking for after you graduate? So where in the world are you currently located? So great to see, like I say, we have students all over. We have students in Africa. We have students in Australia, New Zealand, some in Central Asia and the Middle East. Thank you very much for getting up at this time of day. Canada, US, South America, same for you. We have a lot of students from China as well. Some from Europe, Hong Kong, Japan, Macau, the Philippines, South Korea, Taiwan, and a range of other countries too. How are you feeling about starting your graduate degree? Well, it's fantastic to see that so many of you are so excited. Finally, looking at career prospects, the majority of the votes are still deciding between a few options. That's okay. That's what you're starting this journey for, and hopefully we're going to be able to help you. So at the University of Melbourne, we're very proud of our outstanding reputation for excellence. For over 160 years, we've made distinctive contributions to society and attracted the best and brightest students and researchers, bringing together the world's best minds to solve globally significant problems. We're very excited that you are next to join us. Now, 2020 has obviously been a very challenging year, and we are currently in unprecedented times. We may be physically separated, however, our community is more connected than ever. The University of Melbourne continues to work closely with the Victorian Department of Health and Human Services, the Australian Government, the Victorian Government, and health experts. The university's #1 priority is the health, safety, and well-being of our university community. Now, Metropolitan and Melbourne have now returned to Stage 3 stay-at-home restrictions. We are reviewing our current activity on campus and our return to campus plans to ensure that we continue to operate in line with the latest government advice. All student services, including our library services, are now being delivered virtually. So the University of Melbourne has transitioned to a virtual campus, which maximises opportunities for students to study effectively whilst maintaining the quality and the standards of our degrees and our sense of community. Classes are being delivered remotely and staff are working from home wherever possible. Our virtual campus website will help you navigate ways to stay positive, different ways to stay connected, tips on working remotely, and even ways to nourish your mind. You can connect with your campus community and find your people at Melbourne. We have a large range of great tips for studying online that will help you get prepared for studying remotely. There's a wide range of digital tools and services to help you study remotely. And these include getting connected with a VPN, watching your lectures, attending tutorials and workshops online, and even advice on setting up your work desk, your chair, your computer, and your posture. The International Student Checklist website has everything you need to know about starting your studies online before preparing to move to Melbourne and ensuring a smooth transition into Melbourne life once it's safe to do so. You will find this information on the link on this screen. Now, a reminder that you will receive a copy of this presentation, so please do not worry if you haven't written down all the URLs on time today. You will need to complete your administrative enrolment to confirm that you will begin your studies in the upcoming semester. You will need to supply your contact and personal details as part of your administrative enrolment. You would have all started this process by now by accepting your offer. Now it's time to move forward with the remainder of the checklist. Whilst you are studying online, you will not need a student visa. We will communicate with you clearly once borders are open and we can invite you onto campus and submit your visa application. Your student account gives you access to your student portal, my.unimelb, where you can enrol in your subjects, view your timetable, get fee information and invoices, access your student email, and access subject information via the LMS. Follow the instructions on Get Started to set up your account. You'll also receive a link in your offer letter. You will be issued a username and be required to create a password, so please make sure you keep a record of these. Now, Stop 1 can connect you with the full range of student services to support your success while studying at the University of Melbourne. We offer a range of workshops, programs, and expert advice to help with your administrative, your enrolment, success, and well-being needs. Talk to us on the phone, by live chat, by email, or book your appointment online by going to the Stop 1 website. It is very important to understand what course components make up your course. Use the course planning resources available to you from our website. Review your plan at the end of each semester to make sure that you are on track to meet your course requirements. The most important resource you will need to plan your course is the University Handbook. This is the official source of information about all courses and subjects. You will see on the screen on the left-hand side is the handbook landing page. And on the right is the FAQ section on Ask UniMelb if you need any assistance navigating through the handbook. Now, before attempting to enrol in a subject, always check its handbook entry for any references to enrolment conditions. These may include any prerequisite subjects, some special application or selection processes, or quotas due to possible subject size restrictions. Once you have planned your subjects, you will need to enrol in them via the study plan on my.unimelb. This is your study plan for your entire degree, but you only have to worry about the subjects you are going to be studying this semester. So although you are planning for your full degree, you only need to plan and enrol in the subjects you want to study in 2020. If you do need more assistance with this, there is an excellent website about how to use the study plan at the Students UniMelb website. Now, there are a number of ways you can manage your subjects and course enrolments online. Depending on what adjustments you wish to make, you can either make the change yourself in My UniMelb, or you can request assistance through the enrolment variation form. This form enables you to manage your subject or course enrolment. From here, you can request a prerequisite waiver, add any approved subjects to my study plan. You could change your major or minor, or even your course stream. You can look at overloading if you want to take more credit points in a study period than your course requires. And finally, you can accept non-credit exemptions. The enrolment timeline will assist you to understand key dates for your study, as well as the study periods in which different subjects are taught. Study periods are assigned to subjects to indicate their availability and key dates. You can find out which study periods your subjects are available in via the handbook. The standard study periods are Semester 1 and Semester 2, which have set teaching, assessment and census dates. Non-standard study periods include summer and winter terms, and they have their own individual dates. At the start of each semester, you will have the opportunity to change your subjects. There are 3 key dates for changing your subjects: the last day to self-enroll, the census date, and the last date to withdraw. The last day to self-enroll is usually 2 weeks into class, and you can swap yourself in and out of subjects without penalty. After this date, however, you will need subject coordinator permission to enrol into a subject because you may have missed too much content. The census date for a standard semester is about 4 weeks into class. This is the final date to withdraw from subjects without having to pay for them. Whatever you are enrolled in on this date, you will need to pay the fees for. Finally, the last date to withdraw. This is the final date to withdraw from your subjects. This is usually several weeks into teaching. You would still be liable for the fee, and the subject will appear on your transcript with a withdrawn mark, but it is an option for students who feel they might fail the subject. Now, you will see on the right of this screen the key dates for Semester 2. This is starting off with the orientation from the 27th of July, the teaching starting dates starting from the 3rd of August, the mid-semester break from the 5th to the 11th of October, and the examination period from the 9th of November. In addition to standard and non-standard study periods, the university uses half-year periods to determine certain aspects of enrolment and administration, such as your study load. A standard full-time study load is 50 points per half-year period. A standard subject is worth 12.5 points, which works out to be 4 subjects per half-year period. Different study load requirements applying to student visa holders, you can apply to reduce your study load whilst learning online. My timetable uses a preference-based process involving 3 steps: plan, preference, and review. Use the planner to see class times for subjects you are enrolled in, as well as those you are interested in enrolling in. You can plan for multiple subjects at once, and see if they fit together and also fit with your personal schedule. Whilst you can plan your ideal timetable at any time, you will need to enrol in your subjects before you can continue to the next step. Enter your preferences up until the 20th of July. You can only enter or change your class preferences for subjects that you are enrolled in. Make sure that you've finalised your subject enrolment before you enter your class preferences. You can enter or change your preferences at any time during the preference entry period. For information on when the preference entry period opens and closes for each study period, see the timetable dates. Now, there's no advantage to entering your class preferences first. When classes are sorted and timetables are allocated, all preferences will be weighted equally. Keep an eye on My Timetable during the preference entry period to see if any new classes have been added or if your preferred classes have changed. Then, from the 24th of July, you can review your timetable and make any adjustments based on the final schedule. The learning management system will become very familiar to you. For most of your subjects, you will be able to access reading materials, recorded lectures, assessment activities, grade and subject updates via the LMS. This is called Canvas. Once you have enrolled into subjects, you should have access within 1 business day. Explore the resources, check your book lists, and keep an eye out for updates from lecturers about classes. If you have questions about content, assignments, or assessments in your LMS, contact your subject coordinator. Subjects for semester 2 are automatically made available 10 days before the start of semester. Teaching staff may choose to make their subject available before or after this date. Being a University of Melbourne student is so much more than just attending classes. We encourage you to explore opportunities to get involved in your new university community, to make friends, develop your skills, and to start developing your professional network. Regularly check the my.unimel website and the my.unilife app. Speak to peers and academic staff. Read the faculty newsletters and go on social media platforms. Attend student services workshops, information sessions, and events all virtually. You can participate in mentoring programs. Ask Alumni. This is a fantastic program that allows you the chance to connect with our outstanding Melbourne alumni spread all across the globe. And then hopefully once you graduate, you will become the next Ask Alumni mentor. Visit the websites students.unimel and ask.unimel. Ask Stop 1, and importantly, engage with clubs and societies at the university. Looking at the future, get a head start on your career and develop your employability whilst you are studying. Whether you're exploring your employment options, crafting your resume and cover letter, or applying for an internship, we're here to equip you with the services you need to develop your career. Explore our online platforms, Employ Me, Smart Resume, Careers Online, and Career Advice. Get involved with internships, placements, and start networking online. Orientation is the best way to get to know your virtual campus, your new community, and get ready to start your classes. Orientation runs from Monday the 27th through to the 31st of July. Key activities include our faculty welcomes and information events, information sessions on fees, housing, skill development, getting involved, and an introduction to student clubs and societies. You can create your orientation itinerary online using the link provided. As graduate students, you will have your own faculty welcome session, and you can also create your own itinerary via the website. So if you are looking for some free activities outside of your classes, then the student union groups are here to help. The University of Melbourne Student Union, UMSU, are committed to providing quality experiences on campus that create a community for students from a wide variety of backgrounds and experiences. There are over 200 clubs to join, where you can join organised events, workshops, festivals and welfare programs to support and enhance your university experience. As an international student, you can also join UMSU International, a subsidiary covering international students. Now, an upcoming major event is Winterfest Online. This is run by students for students. Aligning with the orientation between the 27th and 31st of July, check the website to register for sessions that interest you. This is a great way to engage and to make some friends. One particular program I would like to highlight is the International Student Ambassador Program. This is a volunteer program within UMSU International that actively engages students with volunteering and leadership opportunities. If you are looking to expand your social network, as well as gaining some exposure within a leadership role, then the International Student Ambassador Program might be for you. Also on this slide, we have the heart of graduate student life, the Graduate Students Association. GSA provides all 36,000 plus enrolled graduate students at the university with representation, events, training and support. Now, cutting-edge research, expert commentary and stories well told at the time when you need them can be found on Pursuit. At the University of Melbourne, the Pursuit team can call or email, or on these days Zoom, some of the world's leading experts to answer those questions. And at a time like this, many of us want to hear from the experts, whether it's to reassure us, help us understand exactly what that graph means, or offer advice about how to stay safe at home. Pursuit publishes trustworthy and credible news, commentary and analysis to break through the jargon and give you more insight into the world around you. Whether your future is research or not, I recommend that you all bookmark pursuit.unimelb.edu.au. Now, this is a great example of one of our faculty programs for graduate students. We obviously understand that starting university in a new country can be both exciting but challenging. So if you are a new commencing international postgraduate student, for example, enrolled in the Faculty of Medicine, Dentistry and Health Sciences, then this buddy program might be for you. This is a brand new scheme that aims to assist new commencing international students to have a smoother initial transition into university life at Melbourne. This short-term program will provide you with the opportunity to connect with senior students and peers in the faculty, so you can familiarise yourself with the campus whilst making new friends from the start. Have a look at your faculty's website for more details on buddy programs. So what's next? Well, you've all accepted your offer and you're well on your way to the induction of the University of Melbourne. The next steps are to complete your international student checklist, attend Melbourne orientation, and attend your first day of class. We wish you the best of luck. Now that is the conclusion of the formal presentation. I'm now going to introduce our student panelists and open the floor to the Q&A. So first of all, we have Nada, a current Master of Development Studies and a former Bachelor of Arts student at the University of Melbourne from Thailand. Hello, Nada.
Hello.
And also Roisin, our current Doctor of Dental Surgery student from Sri Lanka. Hello, Roisin. Fantastic. So thank you very much for joining us today. And we just have a couple of questions for you, okay? First of all, Nada, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us where you grew up and what made you choose studying at the University of Melbourne.
Yep. So hi everyone, my name is Nada. So I'm from Thailand and from Bangkok actually. So I was born and raised in Thailand, and I have a sister who is 12 years older than me. She went to the University of Melbourne, and I came here when I was 12, when she was graduating, and I really love the campus, and I decided at that time that this is going to be my university. So 12 years later, here I am.
Fantastic. And same question for you, Rasheen. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you choose the University of Melbourne.
So I was actually born in the Seychelles, a little paradise island off the east coast of Africa. And then at 14, I moved to Sri Lanka to complete my education, my secondary education. And then I knew I wanted to do health sciences, so I wanted to pursue my education overseas. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And Australia offers a pathway into dentistry where you have a 3-year undergrad program and then 4 years of dentistry. The university at that time and is still the #1 university for biomedical sciences. So I was very, very happy when I got in, and I had 3 great years of undergrad with basically nothing to fault. And I really, really wanted to get into the dental program. And when I did, I celebrated really well. And yeah, I'm here still. And I'm due to graduate in 2022.
Fantastic. So you obviously had that passion from quite an early age. What made you so passionate about health sciences?
I guess for me, I love using my hands, and I also love catering treatment for people. Dentistry is a very social job. It's, in fact, a lot of the patients that you do end up seeing, you see for a long time throughout your career, and you really build that strong dentist-patient relationship. For me, it's a dream job. So the ability to sort of combine my love for healthcare, working with people of all ages, as well as using my creative side to cater in treating for patients is what I want to do. And then also to be able to make such a big difference in someone's life, helping them feel confident with their smile is so rewarding. There's also the added fact that, there's a good work-life balance, not to mention the versatility when it comes to private and public clinic. And if you're someone like me wanting to go and travel and work at the same time, it's a relatively easier transition, I guess.
Fantastic. Thanks, Rasheen. How about yourself? Looking at development studies, did you know that you wanted to study that pathway before an undergrad, or what made you choose to go down this path?
Yeah, so not at all, actually. My whole family did international relations. I didn't know what development studies was until I came to Melbourne University. So from undergrad, I did international relations, followed my family's pathway, be like, yeah, this is what we're used to doing, this is what we'll do. And then I took development studies subjects, and I realized that I'm very interested in humanitarian aid. So development studies, for people who don't know, because development could mean many things like property or anything. Development studies that I'm studying is relating to, for example, if there's an earthquake or if this country needs assistance, there's war, what kind of help do we assist in? So education, poverty, or any of those. And I think it's very interesting because it's ever changing, and it's not going to be, you're not looking at the same thing every day. So yeah, I did development studies in my minor, and then I was super interested, and I decided to go to master's straight away from there.
Fantastic, thank you. Now, both degrees are obviously extremely rewarding, and there's a lot of study involved in those. Tell us a little bit about what you do outside of your classes. Have you joined any clubs, societies, any of the programs I may have mentioned earlier? Rasheen, we'll start with you, please.
Yeah, so I actually live at one of the university colleges. So it's Newman College, a residential college. And I do play a lot of sport with when it comes to like the intercollegiate games. The great thing is you don't really need to commit to anything long term. It's sort of seasonal. I picked up a new sport I didn't even know exists before, something called softball. But I also do play soccer and netball competitively. In terms of like uni, I do volunteer quite a bit. There's the Are You OK Day and the host tours that I have been a part of. You did mention the MDHS buddy program, so I am one of the dentistry buddies, And I also like to take part in case competitions. I've done a few now. It's just a really good way to mingle and brainstorm ideas with groups of students from varying backgrounds. I've done ones in microfinance and things I've never learned before. So it's just a good way to sort of educate yourselves in different areas. I've also been attending a few of the GSA events, as you mentioned before, and the situation is a lot different now, but with COVID-19, it really hasn't stopped them. They're continuing with the events. There's a lot of virtual events that they do. You have to sign up to the Graduate Student Association newsletter, and then they post events and Zoom links. So these are things like yoga, seminars on crucial topics like mental health, how to be productive at home, and then my personal favorite, the trivia. So yeah, I highly encourage you to follow their Facebook page as well. So, and you have everything listed down, and you can pick any event that you want to go, register your interest. Yeah.
That's great. So it's great to hear there's still that fantastic off-campus community that's being delivered online. Excellent. Nana, how about yourself? Did you join any UMSU international clubs or societies when you joined the university?
Yep. So pretty similar to Rasheen, I was in a residential college as well. So for the first years or the first 2 years that I was in International House College, I participated in intercollegiate sport, really big thing for us. So I was badminton captain, and I did play tennis as well. And then along with events in colleges, you have national nights where you can just do performances, eat food from different nationalities, very fun events there. And then in terms of the university, so I definitely joined the Student Ambassador Program. That's why I'm volunteering and talking now. And I also joined a Flair Dance Ensemble, which is a dance club. So with that one, because of COVID now, we still have dancing on, so you can dance even at home. You'll just turn on your webcam, and then they'll just teach you steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like dance along. And it's a nice way to make friends as well, because once you have connections there, after COVID, after lockdown, you can always meet up, continue a few more sessions, or grab a drink, or enjoy some nice catch-ups. So that's really nice to do. And on a more educational side, I did Model United Nations, which is hosted by UniMel just last year as well. So it was kind of like a 3-day thing where you just debate based on your interests and what's going on in the international world right now. So that's highly relevant to what I'm studying.
Excellent. So it sounds like, networking is so important, both personally, but also professionally as well. Excellent. Just a reminder to all the students that are listening, please send your questions through the Q&A, and we will be able to answer those questions here with our 2 students. So Rasheen, a question for you. What advice would you give for our upcoming international students on joining the university for their first semester of graduate studies?
If it wasn't for COVID-19, I would probably say the best thing, in my opinion, would be to live as close to uni in your first semester, just so that you get familiar with your area, where your classes are, how the transport systems work, and you just feel more comfortable. Maybe then later on you can consider moving out, but obviously given the circumstances, that is not an option at the moment. I would say in general, just to make your time at university an experience, get involved in the community, volunteer, participate in different events, go with the cliche saying, take yourself out of, your comfort zone. And I can tell you for the fact that you will definitely get back what you give in terms of personal growth, networking, meeting, incredible like-minded individuals, and much more. So yeah, it's not about academics only. Whilst academics is extremely important, it's also important to be resourceful and opportunist, really, really utilize everything the university offers. Yeah.
Great. Nana, how did you find transitioning, coming to Australia from Bangkok, and then looking at, meeting students, not only Australian, but also international students from all over the world? How did you find that transition?
At first, I thought there was going to be a cultural shock or things like that, where people were expecting, oh no, a new country, but not at all. I think a big part of it is also because I was in International House, which is an international college where 50% of students are from overseas, whereas 50% are Australian. So at the same time, you get to immerse yourself in cultures, not just Australian culture, but then you also have all these Barbie nights, all the Aussie style things. So it's really nice to just get involved with everyone there, and it wasn't tiring at all. And plus, there's also orientation week that we do in residential colleges, where the full week is where you join. They put you in groups, and then you get to learn about each other, know about each other, which makes university experience less scary. So everyone's very welcoming, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I think going back to the food especially, we're very spoiled here in Melbourne. Personally, I think we have the best food in the world, and a range of different cuisines from all over. So just looking at Melbourne as a city, and obviously, you know, we are keeping a very close eye on what's happening in the developments. And like I said earlier, working very closely with state and federal governments to make sure that we will have a safe campus for students to resume on-campus studies. But let's look at the positives and when that may happen. What would your advice be for future students? Where is some of your favourite places, either on campus or just in Melbourne in general?
Me?
Who wants to answer that?
Okay. I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I can start first. So I think one of my favorite places in Melbourne is probably, I guess in university first, is probably the law building. I'd really like to study there. I gotta like tell the law students like, hey, sorry, I really like the space, because they have a very nice library where you can go sit in and you look outside and you see the whole lawn in Melbourne Uni. And I guess the best...
Just behind me.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I guess in Melbourne, I don't have a particular spot, because I think the best thing is to go cafe hopping. Like that's a really Melburnian thing to do. Just go around on the weekends, brunch places, amazing food and coffees. Melbourne's really well known for that. So I guess to pick a favorite, that's not fair. But yeah, you definitely should explore when you come to Melbourne.
Were you a coffee drinker before coming to Melbourne?
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, but now I just not sure if it's classified as coffee, but I really love mochas here because chocolates in Melbourne are amazing.
Yeah, fantastic. How about yourself, Rasheen?
Very, very similar to Nada. I do love the campus. It's extremely beautiful. I do love coffee as well and brunch. But I recently, at the start of the year, had the opportunity to go visit one of my really good friends, and she lives in Bendigo on a big farm. And this is the first time I've seen something called the countryside, and she had alpacas on her farm. It was an absolute experience, except for the part when I got chased by chickens. But that aside, it was a great experience.
That's just part of the experience. You have to embrace it. All right, fantastic. Now, switching back onto study, and obviously with the recent changes we've had this year, transitioning onto online study. How have you found the transition onto online study and the change from, you would have started semester one obviously with on-campus study. How have you found that at the university moving on to remote study?
So I'll go. In terms of motivation, it's been a struggle. Like it's definitely different. I personally do love going into lectures and asking questions, but the way the university have done it is that now they have these Q&A sessions so that you can ask questions. I very quickly realized cabin fever is legit. But I'm very lucky to be at a college, and we do have a library where I can set aside a study spot and sort of just, have a divide between at home and study and working from home. But the university have been really, really supportive, and they've really looked into our mental health, and they've been stressing that, you have to put your mental health first. And the faculty has been great in terms of campaigning and giving us ideas as to what we can do. It's also really, really important to remember to take breaks in between your studies, that even though you are at home, you have to have that divide between at home and work as well. Yeah.
Great. And for you, Nada?
Yeah, I guess for me, the shift or transition to home wasn't that difficult. I think I can't speak for other courses who have labs, but in terms of Bachelor of Arts or even masters that don't have to go into lab, I think the transition has been really smooth because you still do lectures and tutorials as normal. So the timings are the same. So you just get up at the same time. Your routine hasn't changed. So yeah, I get up in front of a laptop instead, which I kind of like it now. I know that I do really enjoy going to university and going physically sitting in the lecture halls, but I find that I have more time to myself because we really decrease on travel time. So I could wake up maybe 10 minutes before class instead of an hour, and then study on class on the laptop. And then because I'm doing a part-time job now as well online, therefore, it just gives me so much more flexibility in doing more things that I wanted to do. And an advice I would really want to give new students starting is that please, please, please make sure you have a good internet connection. That's really important because just as you would buy pens or notebooks to go to your classes, having a good internet now is really important for your motivation. Because I do find that if lectures tend to lag, or if you wanted to ask questions and the internet shuts off, you might be demotivated. So definitely, fast internet connection is the way to go.
Excellent. Could you just elaborate a little bit more on how you manage your time? You say you've got a part-time job and, heavily getting involved with so many other sort of out of co-curricular activities. How do you best manage your time?
I feel like that one, so for me, classes come first. So I pick the timing of the classes that I want because I want the schedule. For example, I'm not really a morning person. I would want to put my classes a bit in the afternoon. So classes come first. And other than that, things where my part-time job is also really flexible. So I actually got my part-time job through volunteering, which was introduced by one of the UniMel clubs as well, Save the Children, which is also what I'm studying in my field as well. So that's also definitely a perk that I got from volunteering. Like Rasheen said, nothing goes to waste. So you get what you put your effort into. So in terms of managing my time, just being online, just sitting and getting up and stretching for a bit, but making sure that every day you've done all that you want to do and you've fit in a lot more just being at home, I guess. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, I do have one quite course related question for you. So one of the students is asking, as a development studies new student, could you tell us what's the difference between substructure with thesis and without thesis?
Okay, I can't, my thing might be wrong. So I didn't choose thesis, I chose coursework. That's because I wanted to take a variety of subjects, because if I understand correctly, a thesis is when you pick a topic, get it approved from the coordinator, and you work on that topic. So a bit different with coursework, where you have your core subjects, your electives, and then you work on from there. It's a bit more flexible, whereas a thesis, as I said, you'll need to get it approved, and then from that, it takes up more space in your timetable. So the subjects that you pick would be more particular, won't be as flexible, but you can definitely work that out with the course coordinator or ask Stop One for more information.
Fantastic, thank you. And over to you, Rasheen, looking at your degree, how did you sort of look at your timetabling, look at your subjects? I think we've got quite a few students that will be joining your faculty very soon. Any tips and advice on how you designed your course?
So the Doctor of Dental Surgery is it's a set of subjects that is already pre-assigned, so you don't really have in terms of being able to choose. But it's really, really important to stay on top of your lectures. We have actually recently just gone back to uni. So I'm actually in the clinic for 10 hours, 2 days a week. Because it is a very practical based course. In fact, everything we do is with our hands. There is no equivalent, but we do have simulation labs, which we've been going in, and hopefully by August we'll be seeing patients again. But for now, how I'm managing my time is to get all my lectures and my tutorials done when I'm meant to get it done. So for example, if my lecture is at 8 a.m., I do wake up and I do the 8 a.m. lecture, followed by my summary notes, and then go into my seminars, or if I have a discussion group, I'll go into that as well. So it's really important to stay on top of it because my semesters are also slightly a bit longer. It's about 18 weeks and we don't get as much of a break. It's really, really important. The other thing being my exams are at the end of the year because I have year-long subjects, so I cannot afford to stop just because of the workload that will come, and I will regret it. So that is primarily my motivation, but it's also because I generally do enjoy what I learn, and that keeps me going.
Fantastic, thank you. And looking towards the future and post graduation, obviously you've started thinking about your career aspirations. Tell us a little bit about what you've done to improve your resume, your networking, your LinkedIn, all of the job prospects. Have you attended any networking events, either in person, pre-COVID, or online in the last few months?
Yep, I can go. So definitely for my field in humanitarian aid, I think volunteering is very important and a very good way to go because from volunteering at different organizations, different NGOs, I actually learned how they do things without actually being employed and having the responsibility. So people are really nice, and because you're working for them as a volunteer, they teach you, this is how we do things, this is how we do that. So I learned about the career. It's like an internship, but you call it a volunteering experience. So that's really cool. And hopefully once I graduate university, I'll get to be fully employed in an NGO or something like the United Nations would be really cool, but that's a bit of a far dream there, but that's probably the way. Oh, and sorry, just one more thing. In terms of employability skills or anything, I attended Melbourne University's employability workshops, which they have those scheduled on the careers page when pre-COVID. I'm not sure, you need to check if it's actually going on online as well, I presume so. So in those sessions, they actually teach you how to get into an interview, tips on interviewing, how to write a resume and all that. So you're definitely not alone. Nobody's born and knows how to write a resume. It takes time. So definitely get into a chat room with someone and they can help you out.
Cool. And as obviously a peer mentor, that might be something that you'd be able to offer. Now, Rasheen, you said that you were one of the buddies in your faculty?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, fantastic. So how about yourself with your networking and resume writing development?
Yeah, so basically, as part of dentistry, we have an annual dental student conference. So it goes for a week. So it just was recently concluded about 2 weeks ago, and through that, so it's a win-win in the sense that they sort of give you a lot of opportunities. One of the things I came across was the Humble Smile Foundation, which I then very quickly wrote an email to the founder, and now I'm getting involved in that, which is just basically educating individuals at an early age to, dissolve the overwhelming, reactive sort of modern healthcare and resort to like a prevention proactive means. So it's quite an amazing opportunity just because you're connected to practicing dentists in different fields. It's also opened my eyes to the idea of orthodontics and pediatrics, which are possibilities that I'm looking into specializing later on. So yeah, and with resume writing, next to step one, there's a lot of academic help that you can get. They do help you with putting together a portfolio, what you do include. And something I did learn is there's actually a difference between a CV and a resume, and I didn't know that before. So that's something I definitely learned there. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity, as Nada said, that the Melbourne University does offer, and you just have to go and look for it.
Yep, great. And earlier you both said that you've when you started at the university, you found accommodation on campus through the colleges. The students obviously wanting to know again when it's safe to return to Melbourne or to come to Melbourne. Could you give your advice or opinion on the best accommodation options that there are?
Yeah, so for me, I actually did my 3 years of undergrad. I lived in a student accommodation, not at a college. I only moved to a college in my for my postgraduate because I managed to get a scholarship. And so for my undergrad, I lived, again, it was close to University of Melbourne, but it was a something called Uni Lodge, and it was the one that I lived at had a lot of social activities, but also you don't need to be too involved. It sort of suits different personalities. So if you want to be involved, there is the opportunity to get involved. But if you're someone who wants to get involved elsewhere, but not really at where you want to live, it's also an opportunity to live. College is a bit more fast-paced. You meet people, and there's a lot of activities going on, a whole range of activities, as Nada mentioned, with cultural nights, sport, and whatnot. So it's also a great opportunity to network and meet a lot of people in different faculties. And actually, one of my really good friends is studying something called computational systems, and I didn't know that was a thing, and it's very, very interesting. It's just really, really good. And wherever you go, if you're open to conversation, it's just really important to remember that a lot of people are in the same boat, and they're also here as a new student, and they're wanting to meet people and talk to people. So yeah, just say a friendly hello and ask a few questions, and then you'll be best friends.
Very much the Melbourne way. Same question for you, Nada, with your accommodation.
Yep, so when I first came to Melbourne, I decided a residential college was the way to go, especially coming from overseas. I wasn't really sure what Melbourne was like, what it has to offer, or like just being on the same boat with a few people your age seems quite cool. So I applied for International House as an accommodation, and I did stay there for 2 whole years. Of my undergraduate degree. There's always lots of activities going on. So if you're someone who really wants to be involved in activities, I think college is definitely the place to be. But then afterwards, starting into 2nd and 3rd year, I found that my studies started to get a bit heavier. And then I also found my best friends and people who I believe, yep, I can live with them, definitely. So I moved out with them. So my 2 best friends in college, I moved out to a 3-bedroom apartment with them in my last year of university. And I did stay with them just until a few weeks ago because I decided I wanted to continue doing the TR visa, which is that will, if we get into it, it'll be very long, but basically it allows you to work after you graduate from university here. And so with that decided, master's and part-time work, I decided to live alone now. And so I'm just living alone in the CBD. Yeah.
Fantastic. And what about the living costs as an international student living in Melbourne? How do you find those?
Okay, I'll go first. Yeah, so in terms of firstly, residential colleges, they could be more expensive than living alone or staying outside of university, definitely because they provide food and they're a part of university. So there's boarding dorms and things like that, lots of facilities, therefore it's a bit more expensive. But like Roisin said, you can apply for scholarships as well. That's open for almost all colleges. You just need to check on the scholarship page. And then once you move out, it does get cheaper. So if you do move out with a couple of friends, that's probably the cheapest option, also depending on where you are, what type of accommodation you'd like. But then I think living alone is probably the priciest option. That's why I'm only doing that when I'm almost finishing my master's and moving into a full-time job, hopefully. So I guess that's probably the step.
Yeah, and for me, I think exactly as Nada said, I can't fault anything she said. I completely agree. The only thing is the further away you live from the city is likely to be more cheaper, and if you obviously go into a share house, again, more cheaper. But then you have to think about travel costs, and then getting up a little bit early to make it on time for class if you were to go into class. But there's a lot of beautiful places all around Melbourne. It is one of the most livable cities in the world, and you can find a home almost anywhere. They're great. It's a great place to be because of the diversity and the cultural influences. It's honestly a place for everyone to be, and everyone welcomes you with open arms. So yeah.
Fantastic, and we'll obviously see that very soon with our online orientation. Looking back to when you did your orientation, what can our future students expect from the orientation week?
Yeah, so for me, I went to the in-person orientation, and that was being able to, so I went to both the Melbourne Uni dental students, so my faculty one, as well as the GSA one. There's a lot of events, a lot of free food, but obviously free food might not be the same, but you do win a lot of prizes. You get to meet a lot of people, play really fun games, and also an opportunity to join clubs that you really do enjoy. Like, say, for example, I joined the Coffee Appreciation Club, and I got to meet a lot of people. I got to drink coffee all around Melbourne. And also, in fact, right now, what they're doing is they're doing coffee workshops online, which is equally fun. So now I know exactly what I'm drinking, what's in it, and how bad too much caffeine is for you. But it's just a good way to sort of branch out, learn something different, see like-minded, driven students in a completely different field to you, as well as the dental students. We had a separate orientation week, and that was, again, learning more things about dentistry, applying for the mentor-mentee program within the faculty, and getting something called loops. We have surgical loops, getting those tested, and we have the opportunity to win a free loop as well, which generally costs about $5,000. But yeah, there are a lot of fun prizes. So yeah.
Fantastic. That I think that sums it up really well, Roisin. And obviously with orientation just a few days away now, we're looking forward to seeing all of our new students. I think just to summarise, what I will ask from you, Nada, and also from you, Roisin, is what final bit of advice could you give our future international graduate students?
This might sound cliche, but it's really true. Come with an open mind. Try things that you've been wanting to try forever, even though you think it might not suit you, might not be your thing. Who knows? Like, it might be, you might find your best friends from around the world just from joining that. And I just think very, very interesting is that coming into university, it just made me found out more about myself, more about the type of activities that I like, what type of people I want to hang out with, type of group of friends. And it's just really cool to just be open to trying new things. And definitely university has allowed me to be who I always wanted to be. So if I wanted to be, I found myself, I wasn't that talkative when I was younger or when I was throughout high school. And then now I'm Melbourne University student ambassador, so anything can happen. I was really shy before, and now you see me talking on a webinar, or like even hosting student panel discussions, or like leading group tours. And I just think it's really cool. Whatever you want to be, you can be.
Yeah, I agree with Nada. That's incredible. Exactly how she said it. I agree. Also, I want to say, like, to be open to the idea of change, whether it's within your degree. If you see, like, if you don't enjoy it, or if you do enjoy it, if you realize it's not something for you, or like, just be resourceful and like change if you have to change. It's okay. And that there's a really great support system at the university that you can always reach out to, and they're there to help you. So the opportunities are there for you, and honestly, the world is your oyster. So yeah, go for it.
I just have one last thing I wanted to tell everyone. It's just that we're definitely all in this together. Like, nowhere else in the world is doing university normally. So I think it's really cool to be a part of Melbourne University. And though we're taking things a bit differently, we're still Melbourne University. And once we resume in person, you'll get to do all these fun things that we talked about. So don't feel bad that it's not happening now.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I think that's excellent advice for all of us, really, not just future students, but all of us in these times. So again, a big virtual round of applause and thank you to Nada and to Rasheen for helping us out this evening. So this concludes our webinar, and obviously I'd like to thank you very much for joining us, and also for our team of staff who have been very busy answering all of your questions. Now, a copy of this webinar will be sent to you along with some additional information before you start, so please check your inbox. Thank you for attending, and we look forward to welcoming you to our virtual campus very soon.